What's up, guys, and welcome back to the vlog. We're here for day 2 of Rick Beckerman's CLS55, I don't know, rejuvenation, I guess is the best way to call it. And just like yesterday, we've got the boys back today to help us out, B and Adam.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
If you don't follow them already, oh, that was awkward. Okay, let's do that again. SoCal Tires and Ben's Brothers Racing, AMG Doctor on Insta. This man's so popular he has 2 Instagrams. he had to double up on the shirt. So, what do we got going on today, boys?
This morning is pull the air boxes off, which they're pretty much off already.
Dang, you guys started without me.
Yeah.
That's what I get for running to the coffee store.
Yeah, you know how it is. Pull the surge tanks off. We're gonna get those cleaned up really well so the new paint adheres.
These are the actual surge tanks on both sides of the engine.
Yeah,
and this is our supercharger.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave that. We're gonna pull these off, freshen them up. I think we're gonna go wrinkle black on those.
Yeah.
We're gonna clean up the hardware a bit just to make it look, give it that pop it needs. Let the paint dry, and while that's curing, we're gonna pull the coil packs off, pull the wires off, pull the plugs out, go with the NGK one step colder.
Nice.
Take it from there.
Sweet. Now, once they get cracking on the mechanical stuff, we also have our lip and our spoiler that goes on the trunk. These 2 parts are also going to go on today. So we've got some mechanical bits happening, and we've got some looks stuff. Good. Aesthetics. So trunk wing, front lip are going to go on as well. And at that point, the car is pretty much freshened up with all the things that we had planned for it. We also have to paint the grille that we modified yesterday, as you guys saw in the video. It now has the, what's this doodad called again?
Distronic.
The Distronic front emblem. I'll show you guys that. So the reason we have to run this emblem is because the car has this Distronic unit that sits behind the Mercedes-Benz emblem. This is all new shit to me. I mess with 90s cars. They didn't have radars and stuff on 90s cars. So in order for this to function, it has to have that Distronic emblem. So we've gone ahead and replaced that. It looks killer. But this grille needs to be repainted as well. So that's gonna happen today. By the time this car rolls out of here today, it's gonna be looking pretty good. Thanks to the boys. I say we, but I mean them. They're gonna go ahead and get cracking.
So on these engines, you have to use this spark plug tool. Otherwise, you can't get these plug wires off. Mercedes, they kind of designed this weird looking wrench, but it's just so you can get the proper leverage to pop these plug wires off because you can't pull them off. And if you were to use like a regular wrench, you risk of breaking the spark plugs off, which is a horrible thing to do. So it's all about using the right tools, and without this, you're not gonna get these plug wires off.
So when you guys take these surge tanks off, we like to keep them in a pile, like respectively, like a driver and passenger side. So you could put the first one, then the second one's all consecutive, but these back ones, they have to stay separate because you don't want to mix and match them. Like you don't want to put this one on that side. One is longer than the other, and you don't want to have an issue with cross-threading or damaging the bolt or breaking the bolt. So yeah, keep that in mind. This one is the back bolt, driver's side. You just lay them out. You have one in the front.
Are they aluminum?
The 2 behind it. 2 behind that. And the 2 behind that, so you got front to rear and the back one. Driver's side.
There's a lot of AMG guys that have nice cars and stuff, but they don't use them, you know? They just park them, taking the car. I mean, they look nice, but I like to race, burn out, do stupid.
For building this car is just spank Benzes and BMWs.
Really? We might have to line something up when we're done.
Yeah.
You hear that? That's what that sounds like. I'm down for
It's
the
not a
challenge.
No, so here's the story behind that. So that wasn't my whole reason for building this car. When I went to the tuning session last Saturday, the tuner Abel Ibarra, he's a very well-known rotary tuner. He asked me, he said, "What's your goal for the car?" I said, "Oh, I'd be happy with 400 horse." He's like, "Nah, man." He's like, "I know you'd be happy with that." He goes, "But man, these new cars these days are fast as hell."
Yeah.
Like, even like a 328 BMW twin turbo is a pretty fast car for 35 grand. He goes, "You can't be driving around in no 90s Japanese car and have some guy in an S-Class pull up next to you and smoke you, man."
That's true.
You can't hold it down like that for us. So he's like, "We're gonna make more power for you so that you can keep up with those guys."
Nice.
Okay.
Still not my main goal, but to hear him say that, it kind of triggered me like, you know what, he's kind of right. Like, we gotta at least put up a fight.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yorston Wessel.
I've never seen that one before.
Really? Have you seen any twice? The same name?
There's only a few guys who assemble these AMGs, right?
I think I have, yeah.
Mr. Yorston Wessel, good job.
I think that's the only thing I like more about the Supercharger than the turbo. I think the turbo is definitely more efficient, it makes more power, but I just love how Supercharger, you got that instant power.
Yeah, I like the whine about it too. Like, there's, you know, nothing beats turbo noises in my eyes, but supercharger whine is pretty freaking cool. Especially like Magnuson supercharger. Have you ever heard those?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You hear it straight through the hood.
Oh yeah. Well, even at idle, you hear it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy that at idle, it's like boosting already, which is exactly where that instant torque comes from.
Exactly. And I think this is actually the only engine that AMG ever did supercharged. Like now everything's all turbo, you know, but literally throughout the past, this was the only platform that they did a supercharger on. Plugs.
Okay.
Changed recently sometime.
They Bosch.
Double platinum, yeah. We got some one-step coder plugs, so these are gonna go to the trash bin. So here we got the NGK Iridium plugs, really good. You can use the Bosch if you wanted to, but because of all the mods that we got going on, we got to use a one-step coder plug. It's really important. I've seen on some of the newer cars, the guys don't use these one-step coder plugs, and they'll actually blow the whole electrode off of the spark plug, and then they get stuck in your cylinder, which causes all kinds of problems.
25 horsepower.
If you want to do it right, I suggest that you go with the one-step coder plugs, and you'll be a really happy camper. So that's what we're going to go ahead and throw in here now. Go ahead and pull out all 16 plugs because there's 2 plugs for every cylinder on these AMG motors. So it's twice the fun. These all come pre-gapped too, so you don't have to do anything as far as like gapping them like you would a traditional spark plug. I really like that about NGK. Makes it a lot easier. All you got to do is just go ahead and screw it in the hole. Sometimes people go ahead and put the anti-seize on the threads. Me personally, I don't like to use it just because with these NGKs, they actually come out really well, especially if you change them often enough. If you didn't change it for over 100,000 miles, then I feel like that's when you have the problems of taking them out. So I suggest usually, me personally, I change them every 25 to 30,000 miles. You can do them sooner is better, but just don't wait till like 50 or 100,000 miles like most people do, you'll regret it. I like these Gorilla gloves.
Yeah?
They're nice. Never used them before, but I think I'm gonna start using them for sure. Nice grip, I can still feel what I'm working on, it's nice. When you torque these down, a lot of people always use a torque wrench. Me personally, I've done it so many times so I can kind of just feel how tight it is. They'll ask me like how tight you need to go. We always say, me and Adam, we say Guten tight. That's what they do in Germany. But another important thing when you're tightening these down is you don't want to go too tight, but you definitely want to get it tight enough because it's really important that you crush that washer because that washer kind of sends electricity. I think it's like a ground. So if you weren't to smash that, you're not going to get the proper spark. So just make sure you tighten those down until they stop. Once it stops spinning and you can't really turn it no more, then don't turn it no more. Yeah. You want to blow it? You can blow it. I'll just close my eyes.
That's what she said.
Safety glasses.
So what you got to do with these, so once all the bolts are removed and you have this, there's a 7mm clamp on the back, you loosen that top one. It's ready to come out, but you need to blow the area off first. You don't want any debris falling in there. Your valves are right there. So clean it, clean it, clean it. And then once you take them off, we'll tape over it so nothing falls in. Right before we put the new covers back on the gaskets, take the tape, clean the area really well, and you're good to go. That's why you clean it.
Dirt. What you don't want inside your engine.
You can reuse them. We don't like to get new ones. They're the most you'll pay is probably $9 each. Get new ones.
Another plug. Still looking clean, so these have definitely been changed recently, which is really good, but we're gonna go ahead and put fresh plugs in here anyway, because all the rest of the mods, it just only makes sense to have fresh plugs. Sometimes people will ask me for a quote on how much it is to do the spark plugs, and when I tell them the price, you're like, man, that's a lot. Why does it cost so much, like, to do the spark plugs? And I have to explain to them how a lot of times people don't even realize that there's twice as many spark plugs, so that's why you gotta charge kind of twice as much, because you're doing twice as much work, literally. On the newer AMG engines though, Mercedes went back to the traditional 8 plugs, 1 plug for every cylinder. It's just, I don't know, that back in the day they wanted to get fancy with it, and this is what they came up with.
Man, this engine looks so cool when it's all stripped down. It's so sleek looking.
Yep, got all the surge tanks off, all the coil packs are removed right now, all the wires. He's just getting the last bit of the plugs put in.
Last plug.
Only 16.
15 down, 1 to go.
Yeah, and then just starting to button everything up. When you put them back together, we usually like to start with the back ones first, because as you can see, when you get back there, it gets really tight. So even on these coil packs, if you look, there's going to be an A and a B. So A is the top wire, and then if you look on the cover, you'll see A and B. So you just have to match it up. So A and K, so it would just go over. And usually on this side, the top one always goes to the left.
Yeah.
And then that side, the top one goes to the right.
I'm just over here doing these engine air filters. This side I'm already buckling up, but if you want, you can take a look. See, this side is the new engine air filter. We just went ahead and used the stock replacement. OEM is a Bosch. A lot of people will like to use the K&N air filters, but I personally recommend sticking with the stock just because it is an AMG, so AMG knows how to design their engines, and these flow more than enough air already. You can go with the K&Ns if you want, but that's your personal preference. Gonna go ahead and put this all back together, and then we can go and slap this whole engine air box assembly back onto the CLS55.
So basically with these, they're all pulled off, and what we did, you could use brake cleaner, but we went the extra step and used a heavy duty wheel cleaner. You could even use like a diluted wire wheel cleaner, and it'll actually etch into it because you're gonna paint over them anyway. And you wanna ensure you get all the oil off and the grease. You don't wanna start painting it and you start seeing the paint run just because all the oil on there. More cleaner is better. And then afterwards you could use brake cleaner. These were actually washed about 40 minutes ago and they're still wet, you could see it. So just use a air compressor, air gun, can of compressed air, just make sure you get all the water off. When the water's out, we're gonna tape around here, and then we're gonna tape over the bottom so we have no excess paint on. You want a clean mating surface when we put the new gaskets on, and you're good to go. Gonna buff out the driver's side headlight, final buff, do a couple passes, and once that is done, we're in the process of polishing the bolts for the surge tanks and then getting the surge tanks ready for paint. They're all taped up. We're just gonna kind of give them a preheat so the paint has a nice tropical surface to adhere to, and then go from there.
This is the compound you're using, the Meguiar's Ultimate.
Yeah, we use the Ultimate because it's a good all around. It's good to restore, good for clarity. A lot of people don't know, but that stuff, that's what I use on headlights all the time. It's really good compound, not too aggressive cutting. You don't want to really etch the surface of your lights. You'll notice I didn't tape off when I did them. Because that's a dual action polisher, dual action rotary. You could actually hold it on the paint and talk to somebody for 30 minutes. It's not going to burn the paint. It doesn't spin in a perfect circle, so it allows air to pass through. So, I mean, if you're using a wool pad, of course you want to tape off and watch your heat, but that one, you should be good. So that's just one pass. We're going to do about 4 or 5 passes. The best advice I could give you is when they're done, you could clear coat them, but if a rock impacts them, it's going to chip the clear coat. Eventually that clear coat's going to spread. The chip, when water gets underneath it, your headlight's going to look horrible again. So what you could do, go to a tin shop, look online, you could get a clear bra, and you could install it yourself on these lights. You get clear or else you can get smoked, and it's self-healing, like the same stuff you put on your cell phones. Rock hits it, if there's a scratch, it'll self-heal when the sun hits it. So really good products.
Well, my buddy Adam is the one that put me onto this wheel, but he calls it the Wizzy World. But this actually does a lot of good for us because we don't have to sit here and rub. Like traditionally you take like some Windex or some soapy water and just kind of sit here with a credit card or whatever else.
Fingers.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But with this, you just sit here and the tool does all the work for you. So you just have to go back and forth. You don't have to press too hard because you really don't want to scratch the paint. It's not going to scratch the paint, but at the same time, just let the tool do the work. But yeah, this is definitely the tool of the day.
Everyone thinks it's going to scratch paint, and you show them, and it's just...
It's like magic.
I've used it to take off clear bras, even on the side badging on the car. Like you can even see the aggressive profile you get. It's a thicker spoiler. Gives the car some more dimension, you know? People ask me too what this little edge is for right here. It's if you don't have it, you'll be able to look in and see the tape mark when it's on the car. So it kind of conceals it a bit. So you don't want to put tape on that edge, you want to put it inside that edge. Tape's a lot. Try to get it as best as you can. It's not going to be perfect.
Oh, it'll be perfect.
Okay, it'll be perfect according to B. So if it's not perfect, it's his fault. Just want to set these where you just making a little marker. So.
Oh, like that. Like that.
Well, I guess we could hold it up to that one and figure it out. I mean, you said it's going to be perfect.
This is the process of making things perfect.
Is that good?
That's good.
Okay.
No, it's not good. It's perfect.
So what I usually do is make like a little angle on it. Here's lined up. Push it down. All right, so what we're gonna do, these are all the bolts for the surge tanks. We have the driver side, passenger side, driver, passenger. Remember, don't get those two mixed. You don't wanna put them in the wrong spot. So, I'm gonna polish these nuts.
These nuts?
Get them done. Before, looks kinda and polish them, bench grinder. Wire wheel looks brand new. You didn't have to buy new ones. You could do it with the Dremel as well. It takes a little longer, but we'll show you how it's done right now. So again, keep your back one separate. We'll do that one first. "20 seconds later, bolt looks new. Check it out. Once you put it against those black surge tanks, it's gonna pop. It's what me and B always say. The smallest details make the biggest difference. Cool, let's get the rest of these done.
A few minutes later.
Good as new. Looks like we just bought them.
Got a little bit of a wrinkle black finish to this paint.
He's probably around.
Gives
Where's
it
the
texture.
resin?
I'm a big fan of the wrinkle black paint. That's usually how me and SoCal Tires do it. So we're doing the same on this one. Give it that final last touch.
So this was a non-Distronic grill, so it had a different emblem. Mickey actually cut it out and made it a Distronic grill so we can use it for the sensor.
So we got this engine air filter assembly all assembled and ready to put back on the car. Like I showed you earlier, we got the new filters in both of these. So we're gonna go over here and throw these on. Me and Adam, we actually both just got done putting the surge tanks back on. You can see that Adam took the time to polish out every single one of these bolts, so it's all looking brand new again. Got that wrinkled black finish, so it gives it that one-of-a-kind look. Go ahead and set this on without scratching any of that new paint, of course.
And you guys there's a vent hose back here you have to plug in, so you don't want to get a check engine light.
Don't forget, because a lot of people do forget.
All right, guys, well, I haven't been a big part of this video. These men right here have done all the work, and we appreciate all of the hard work that they have done. They've really transformed this car for Rick in the matter of a day and a half. I mean, let's be honest, it ain't even 5 o'clock yet. So these guys are putting in work while I've been over there working on the Bad Apple. I appreciate it because it makes my work a little lighter, and these guys are experts on the AMG bits. So what all did we get done today? We got our surge tanks painted. We got everything basically put back together. Yesterday you got the belt in, all the blower stuff's done. We got the front grille in, which looks amazing. It's got a little, oh man, the badge is crooked.
Don't point it at me, buddy. That's all you.
Just kidding.
It has your name on it. It has your name on it.
Straight as a silver arrow.
There you go.
Oh, and we, not to be forgotten, the lip is on. You showed this already? I know I've been a little absent, so this is my favorite addition to the car. The one thing we didn't get done today was the front lip. We ran into a little bit of issues with that. So we will tackle the front lip in the next video. So thank you guys.
We got some side skirt extensions coming too.
Oh,
we got
snap. So see, these guys don't tell me anything. We also have side skirt extensions coming for this. So bunch of little carbon bits, tasteful, not over the top, but enough to really make this thing pop on the street. So these guys are gonna do a little bit more with the computer and adjusting the ride height and stuff like that. I'm gonna sign this off here because I think you guys have seen enough for one day. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. We do read them, so keep them coming. And of course, all the thumbs up. Thanks, boys. We out.
Thank you.